My name is Jason Miller, and 3 hours ago I discovered that my wife Emily has been screwing Carter Blackwell in our guest bedroom every Tuesday while I'm supposedly at my security consulting meetings downtown. The funny thing is, I actually was at those meetings, legitimate business discussions about installing alarm systems for local shops. Meanwhile, my darling wife was installing Carter's equipment in our Egyptian cotton sheets. I'm sitting in my kitchen now, staring at Emily's tablet that she left open like a confession letter. The messages are all there, timestamps and everything. "Can't wait for Jason's Tuesday meeting," she wrote last week. "I'll leave the back door unlocked." Carter's response made my stomach turn. "Your husband's such a clueless loser. Does he really think those security jobs matter?" The irony isn't lost on me. I spent 15 years as a cop in Portland before moving here to Millbrook, Maine, with Emily 5 years ago. Now I run private security consultations for small businesses, installing the very cameras and alarm systems that could have caught my wife's affair if I'd bothered to wire my own house. But who suspects their spouse of turning their home into a weekly brothel? Emily's key turns in the front door. It's 11:30 p.m., and she's just getting home from her late HR meeting. I close the tablet and slide it back to its original position on the counter, my hands surprisingly steady. "Hey, babe," she calls out, her voice carrying that fake cheerfulness she's perfected. "Sorry I'm so late." The quarterly reviews ran forever. I watch her walk into the kitchen, still beautiful at 32. Her blonde hair perfectly styled despite her supposedly grueling day. She's wearing the black dress I complimented this morning, the one that hugs her curves just right. Now I know who she really dressed up for. "How was your meeting with the hardware store owner?" she asks, opening the refrigerator and pulling out a bottle of wine. She pours herself a generous glass without offering me any. "Did you sell him on the security package?" "Actually, it went really well," I say, keeping my voice level. "Mr. Peterson is very interested in comprehensive surveillance. High-definition cameras, motion sensors, the works. Amazing what people will pay for when they want to catch thieves." Emily nods absently, scrolling through her phone. "That's great, honey. I'm exhausted. Think I'll head up to bed." "Emily." My voice stops her at the kitchen doorway. "We need to talk." She turns, and for just a second, I see something flicker across her face. Fear? Guilt? But it's gone so quickly, I might have imagined it. "Can it wait until tomorrow? I'm really tired." I pick up her tablet and set it on the counter between us. Her face goes completely white. "You left this open," I say, quietly. "Want to explain your workout sessions with Carter?" The wine glass slips from her hand and shatters on the tile floor, red liquid spreading like blood. Emily stares at the mess, then at me, her mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. "Jason, I can explain. I'm sure you can. You always were creative with explanations." I stand up slowly, my hands flat on the counter. 23 messages, Emily. Photos. A video of you two in our guest bedroom last Tuesday while I was meeting with the Peterson family about their store security. She starts crying then. Those perfect tears that used to melt my heart. Now they just make me feel cold inside. "It didn't mean anything," she whispers. "It was just... I felt so lonely, and you're always working, and Carter was there." "Carter was there," I repeat. "In our house. In our bed. While I was working to pay for this house, this life we built together." "Please, Jason." "It's over. I'll end it right now. We can go to counseling, we can fix this." I laugh, and the sound surprises both of us. It's not a bitter laugh, or an angry one. It's genuinely amused. "Fix this?" I shake my head. "Emily, you don't understand. This isn't about fixing anything. This is about consequences." She steps toward me, glass crunching under her heels. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'm done being the clueless husband everyone in this town pities behind his back. I'm done being the guy who doesn't know his wife is screwing the golden boy realtor at the country club." "How did you know that everyone knows?" "Because I'm a trained investigator, Emily. I notice things. Like how conversations stop when I walk into Murphy's bar. How the ladies at the grocery store look at me with those sympathetic smiles. How your best friend Vanessa can't make eye contact with me anymore." Emily's tears are flowing freely now, but I'm not moved. I'm calculating. "Jason, please. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you." "No," I say, walking around the counter toward her. She backs against the wall. "You love the idea of me. The steady paycheck, the nice house, the respectable husband who doesn't ask too many questions. But you don't love me, Emily. If you did, you wouldn't have spent the last 6 months turning our marriage into a joke. It wasn't 6 months. The messages go back to March, Emily. It's September. That's 6 months of you lying to my face every single day. She slides down the wall until she's sitting on the floor, sobbing. Part of me wants to comfort her, the part that remembers falling in love with this woman 7 years ago, but that part is getting smaller by the minute. What are you going to do? She whispers. I crouch down so we're eye level. I'm going to show you what happens when you underestimate the clueless loser. Her eyes widen. Jason, you're scaring me. Good, I say, standing up. You should be scared. Because tomorrow, I start playing by new rules. I walk toward the stairs, leaving her crying on the kitchen floor, surrounded by broken glass and spilled wine. Where are you going? She calls after me. To bed, I say without turning around. The guest bedroom. I figure it's had enough action for 1 week. I hear her sob echo through the house as I climb the stairs. In the guest bedroom, I lie down on sheets that smell like another man's cologne and stare at the ceiling. My marriage is over, but my real work is just beginning. Carter Blackwell thinks I'm a clueless loser. Emily thinks she can manipulate me with tears and promises. The whole town thinks I'm the fool who doesn't know what's happening in his own house. They're all wrong. And by the time I'm finished, everyone in Millbrook is going to know exactly how wrong they were. I wake up at 5 a.m., same as always. The guest bedroom feels different in the morning light. Smaller, tainted. I can hear Emily moving around in our bedroom down the hall, probably hoping last night was just a bad dream. I shower, dress, and head downstairs. Emily's cleaned up the broken glass and wine, but she's nowhere to be seen. Her car is still in the driveway, so she's probably hiding upstairs, trying to figure out her next move. My first stop is Murphy's Bar downtown. It doesn't open until 11 a.m., but I know Tommy Brennan will be there early doing inventory. Tommy was my partner for 3 years when I worked Portland PD, and he's been running Murphy's since his retirement 2 years ago. I knock on the back door and hear Tommy's gravelly voice. We're closed. It's Jason Miller. The door opens immediately. Tommy's a big guy. 6'4" with graying hair and the kind of face that's seen everything twice. He takes one look at me and steps aside. You look like hell, Miller. Coffee? Please. The bar is dim and quiet, chairs still stacked on tables from last night. Tommy pours 2 cups of coffee from the machine behind the bar and slides one across to me. So, he says, settling onto a bar stool, you finally figured it out. I nearly choke on my coffee. What? About Emily and that real estate prick. Jesus, Jason, I was wondering how long it would take you. The betrayal hits me like a physical blow. You knew? Tommy sighs and runs a hand through his hair. Half the town knows, buddy. I'm sorry, I wanted to tell you, but what? You thought I'd rather live in ignorance? I thought you'd rather hear it from someone who mattered to you, not from bar gossip. Tommy's voice is gentle but firm. How'd you find out? I tell him about the tablet, the messages, the video. Tommy listens without interruption, his expression growing darker. That bastard, he mutters when I finish. Coming into your house like that? And Emily? He shakes his head. I never liked her, Jason. Too smooth, you know? Too perfect. Apparently not perfect enough to stay faithful. What are you going to do? I take a long sip of coffee, considering. I'm going to destroy them both. Tommy raises an eyebrow. Legally, I hope. Of course legally. I'm not going to jail over this. I lean forward. But I want them to pay for what they've done. Not just to me, but for making this whole town complicit in humiliating me. What do you need? Information. You hear everything that happens in this town. Tell me what you know about Carter Blackwell. Tommy grins, and it's not a nice expression. Now you're talking. Carter's got more dirty laundry than a college dormitory. For the next hour, Tommy fills me in on Carter's various schemes and indiscretions. Carter's been cutting corners on property inspections, overcharging elderly clients, and apparently has a gambling problem that's gotten him into debt with some unsavory characters from Boston. He's also engaged, Tommy adds. Sweet girl named Rebecca from Augusta. Works as a nurse. No idea her fiancé is screwing around. Engaged? This is news to me. Yep, been planning a Christmas wedding. Poor girl's been showing off her ring all over town. The picture is getting clearer. Carter isn't just betraying me, he's betraying his own fiancée. And Emily knows it, which makes her complicity even worse. What about Emily's job? I ask. She's HR director at TechFlow Solutions, right? That new software company? Tommy thinks for a moment. I heard some rumors about irregularities in their hiring practices. Something about nepotism and kickbacks, but nothing concrete. I file that information away. Anyone else I should know about? Vanessa Grant, Emily's best friend. She's been covering for Emily, making excuses when people ask questions. Real piece of work, that one. Thinks she's some kind of social media celebrity because she has a few thousand followers on Instagram. I know Vanessa well. She's been Emily's friend since college, always inserting herself into our marriage with unwanted advice and passive-aggressive comments. If she's been helping Emily cover up the affair, she's as guilty as anyone. Tommy, I say, finishing my coffee, I need you to do something for me. Name it. Tonight, I want you to casually mention to a few of your regulars that you heard Carter Blackwell's been having some financial troubles. Nothing specific, just plant the seed. Tommy nods. Consider it done. What else? I need to borrow your van tonight, the white one, without your business logo. Planning some surveillance? Something like that. Tommy tosses me the keys. Just don't get caught. And Jason, be careful. Cornered animals bite. I spend the rest of the morning driving around Millbrook, reacquainting myself with the town's geography. It's a typical Maine community of about 15,000 people, built around a small downtown area with tree-lined residential streets radiating outward like spokes on a wheel. Carter's real estate office is on Main Street, a renovated Victorian house with Blackwell and Associates painted in gold letters on the front window. His BMW is parked in the small lot behind the building. Emily's office is in the new business park on the south side of town, a generic glass building that houses several small companies. TechFlow Solutions occupies the second floor. At noon, I position myself in the parking lot of the diner across from Carter's office and wait. Sure enough, at 12:30, Carter emerges and gets into his BMW. I follow him at a distance as he drives to the Millbrook Country Club. The country club is where Millbrook's elite pretend they're more important than they actually are. Carter parks near the entrance and walks inside like he owns the place. Through the large windows, I can see him joining a table of men in golf attire, all laughing and shaking hands. I recognize most of them. The mayor, the bank president, the owner of the largest construction company in town. These are the people who run Millbrook, and Carter's sitting at their table like he belongs there. My phone buzzes with a text message from Emily. Please come home so we can talk. I delete the message without responding. At 2 p.m., Carter leaves the country club and drives to a small house on Elm Street. I park 2 blocks away and watch through binoculars as a young woman with auburn hair comes out to greet him. She's wearing scrubs and has a tired but happy expression. This must be Rebecca, the nurse fiancée Tommy mentioned. She kisses Carter on the cheek, and they go inside together. 15 minutes later, Carter emerges alone, gets back in his BMW, and drives away. The bastard is playing house with his fiancée in the afternoon and screwing my wife in the evenings. The sheer audacity of it makes my blood boil. I follow Carter back to his office, where he stays until 6 p.m. Then he drives to the gym on the outskirts of town, the same gym where Emily has a membership. Bingo. I park across the street and watch Carter go inside. 20 minutes later, Emily's car pulls into the lot. She's changed out of her work clothes into yoga pants and a tank top that shows off her figure. They're not even trying to be subtle anymore. I call Tommy from the parking lot. It's Jason. Are you at the bar? Yeah, just opened. Why? I need you to call Emily's cell phone in exactly 30 minutes. Tell her there's been an accident involving me and she needs to get to the hospital immediately. Jesus, Jason, it's necessary. Trust me. Tommy sighs. Which hospital? Maine Medical in Portland. Tell her I was in a car accident on Route 295 and they're not sure how serious it is. This better not blow back on me. It won't. Just make sure you sound convincing. I hang up and wait. 35 minutes later, Emily comes running out of the gym, her face pale with panic. She fumbles with her car keys, drops them, picks them up, and speeds out of the parking lot. Carter emerges 5 minutes later, looking confused and checking his phone repeatedly. Perfect. While Emily is racing to Portland to find out I'm not actually in the hospital, I have work to do. I drive to Carter's office building and park in the alley behind it. The building is old, and the security system is basic. Just standard door locks and a few motion sensors. Nothing I can't handle with my professional tools. It takes me less than 10 minutes to get inside Carter's office. I'm not here to steal anything, just to gather information. I photograph documents from his desk, copy files from his computer, and install a small listening device behind his desk phone. The documents are fascinating. Carter's been inflating property values for clients who pay him under the table, while undervaluing properties he wants to buy himself. He's also been taking kickbacks from contractors who want referrals for repair work on houses he sells. But the most interesting discovery is a folder labeled Tech Flow. Inside are documents showing that Carter helped Emily manipulate the hiring process at her company, steering contracts to friends and relatives in exchange for cash payments. Emily isn't just cheating on me, she's stealing from her employer, and Carter's been helping her do it. I photograph everything and carefully return the documents to their original positions. By the time I leave Carter's office, I have enough evidence to destroy both of their careers and possibly send them to prison. My phone rings as I'm driving home. It's Emily, and she's furious. "Where the hell are you?" she screams. "I've been at 3 different hospitals looking for you. Tommy said you were in an accident." "I'm fine," I say calmly. "Must have been a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding? Jason, I was terrified. I thought you were dying." "Were you? Terrified, I mean?" There's a pause. "Of course I was. You're my husband." "Funny. You didn't seem terrified yesterday when you were planning your next rendezvous with Carter." Another pause. Longer this time. "Jason, please come home. We need to talk." "We'll talk when I'm ready to talk, Emily. Not before." I hang up and drive to Tommy's bar. The evening crowd is starting to filter in. Construction workers, shop owners, retirees looking for company and cheap beer. Tommy's behind the bar, polishing glasses. He nods toward a quiet corner booth, and I join him there a few minutes later. "How'd it go?" he asks. "Better than expected. Carter and Emily aren't just having an affair. They're running a scam at her company." I show Tommy some of the photographs I took. His eyes widen as he studies the documents. "Jesus, Jason. This is serious stuff. You could take this to the FBI." "I could," I agree, "but that would be too easy. I want them to suffer first. I want them to know what it feels like to have their lives destroyed piece by piece." Tommy looks at me with concern. "You're walking a dangerous line here, buddy." "They crossed the line first," I say. "I'm just evening the score." My phone buzzes with another text from Emily. "Please come home. I love you." This time, I respond, "Love is more than a word, Emily. It's a choice. You made your choice." I turn off my phone and order another beer. Tomorrow, the real fun begins. I don't go home that night. Instead, I check into the Millbrook Inn under a false name, a skill I learned during my police days. Emily calls the inn's main line 6 times. But I've instructed the desk clerk to tell anyone looking for Jason Miller that no one by that name is registered. At 6 a.m., I'm parked outside Carter's office building in Tommy's van, waiting. Carter arrives at 7:30, earlier than usual. He looks haggard, like he didn't sleep well. Good. I follow him through his morning routine. Coffee at the diner, a stop at the bank, back to his office. At 10 a.m., his phone rings. The phone with my listening device. I can hear every word through the receiver in my van. "Carter, it's Emily. We have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "Jason knows about us. He has photos, messages, everything." There's a long pause. "How much does he know?" "Everything, I think. He's been acting strange, and last night he disappeared. I think he's planning something." "Like what?" "I don't know." But he's not the pushover everyone thinks he is. He used to be a cop, Carter. He knows how to investigate people. Another pause. "Okay, don't panic. We'll handle this." "How?" "Leave that to me. Just act normal, go to work, pretend everything's fine." "What if he goes to the police?" "With what? Photos of us together? That's not illegal, Emily. Adultery isn't a crime in Maine. But the other stuff." "What other stuff?" Emily's voice drops to a whisper. "The TechFlow contracts. If he found out about those." "He didn't." How could he? Those documents are locked in my office safe. I smile grimly. The documents weren't in his safe. They were sitting right on his desk. Carter's arrogance is going to be his downfall. I'm scared, Carter. Don't be. Jason Miller is a small-town security guard who couldn't keep his own wife satisfied. He's not going to outsmart us. That does it. I've heard enough. I spend the next 2 hours making preparations. First, I visit the Millbrook Gazette, the local weekly newspaper. The editor, Mrs. Patterson, has been running the paper for 30 years and knows everyone in town. Jason Miller, she says, looking up from her computer, I heard you and Emily were having some troubles. Word travels fast in a small town. It does indeed. What can I do for you? I hand her a manila envelope. I have a story that might interest you about corruption in local businesses and government contracts. Mrs. Patterson opens the envelope and examines the documents I've prepared. Copies of Carter's fraudulent property dealings, and Emily's contract manipulation at TechFlow. I've removed any reference to their affair, focusing purely on the financial crimes. This is serious stuff, Jason. Where did you get these documents? Let's just say they came from a concerned citizen who wants to see justice done. Mrs. Patterson studies the papers more carefully. If this is true, it could bring down half the business community in Millbrook. Then I guess you'd better verify it carefully before you publish. I will. But Jason. She looks at me with sympathy. Are you sure you want to go down this road? Once this comes out, there's no taking it back. I'm sure. My next stop is the Millbrook Police Department. Chief Morrison is an old friend from my Portland days, a straight shooter who doesn't tolerate corruption in his town. Jason, he says, welcoming me into his office. I'm sorry to hear about your personal troubles. Thank you, Chief. But I'm not here about personal troubles. I'm here about criminal activity. I present him with another set of documents. These ones focused on Carter's property fraud and tax evasion. Again, no mention of the affair, just cold, hard evidence of financial crimes. Chief Morrison examines the documents with growing concern. Where did you get these? Anonymous tip. But I can verify their authenticity if needed. Jason, you know I have to ask. Is this related to your marital problems? It's related to my civic duty as a citizen who doesn't want to see criminals operating freely in his community. Chief, Morrison nods slowly. I'll need to investigate this thoroughly. If it's true, we'll need to involve the State Attorney General's office. I understand. Jason? Chief Morrison stops me as I reach the door. Be careful. If Carter Blackwell is as dirty as these documents suggest, he won't go down without a fight. I'm counting on it. That afternoon, I drive to Augusta to visit Rebecca, Carter's fiancée. She's working a day shift at the hospital, so I wait in the parking lot until her break. When she comes out, I approach her carefully. She's pretty, in a wholesome way, with kind eyes and an open face. The kind of woman who deserves better than Carter Blackwell. Excuse me, are you Rebecca? She looks at me suspiciously. Yes. Do I know you? My name is Jason Miller. I think we need to talk about your fiancé. Her expression hardens. If this is about business, you should talk to Carter directly. It's not about business. It's about the kind of man you're planning to marry. I hand her a manila envelope. Inside are copies of the text messages between Carter and Emily, along with photos of them entering and leaving the gym together. Rebecca's face goes white as she looks through the evidence. Her hand starts shaking. This can't be real, she whispers. I'm sorry, but it is. Carter's been having an affair with my wife for 6 months. Rebecca sits down heavily on a nearby bench. We're supposed to get married at Christmas. We've already sent out invitations. I know this is devastating, and I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. But you deserve to know the truth before you make the biggest mistake of your life. Rebecca looks up at me with tears in her eyes. Why are you showing me this? Because Carter Blackwell destroyed my marriage, and I don't want him to destroy yours too. What do you want me to do? That's up to you, but if I were you, I'd want some answers. I leave Rebecca sitting on the bench, staring at the photos. I feel bad for hurting her, but she needs to know what kind of man she's engaged to. By evening, the wheels are in motion. Mrs. Patterson calls to tell me she's verified the information and will be running the story in next week's paper. Chief Morrison calls to say he's opening an official investigation into Carter's business practices. And Rebecca calls Carter. I'm listening through the bug in his office phone when Rebecca confronts him. Her voice is shaking but determined. Carter, I need to ask you something, and I want you to tell me the truth. Of course, sweetheart. What is it? Are you having an affair? There's a long silence. What? Rebecca, where is this coming from? Just answer the question. Are you having an affair? No, absolutely not. I would never cheat on you. You know that. Then explain these photos. I can hear papers rustling over the phone. Where did you get these? Carter's voice has changed, become harder. Someone came to see me at the hospital. Jason Miller. That bastard. Rebecca, listen to me. These photos are fake. Jason Miller is trying to destroy me because he's jealous of my success. These look pretty real to me, Carter. They're not. I swear to you, I've never touched that woman. Jason Miller is unstable, Rebecca. His wife is leaving him and he's trying to drag me down with him. So you're saying this woman Emily isn't having an affair with you? I barely know Emily Miller. I might have said hello to her at the gym a few times, but that's it. Jason is making this whole thing up. Rebecca is quiet for a long moment. Carter, I want to believe you. Then believe me. I love you, Rebecca. You're the only woman I want to marry. Prove it. How? Come to Augusta tonight. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere near that gym or that woman. Of course. I'll be there in an hour. After Rebecca hangs up, I hear Carter slam something down on his desk and curse loudly. Then he dials another number. Emily, it's me. We have a big problem. Your husband went to Rebecca and showed her photos of us together. Oh, God. What did you tell her? I told her the photos were fake and that your husband is crazy, but she's suspicious now. What are we going to do? We're going to lay low for a while. No more meetings, no more texts, nothing. And Emily, if your husband tries to contact Rebecca again, we're going to have to take more direct action. What do you mean? I mean Jason Miller is becoming a problem that needs to be solved permanently. The menace in Carter's voice is unmistakable. He's not just talking about legal action. He's threatening me. Perfect. Now I have him on tape making threats. I drive back to the inn and spend the evening reviewing my evidence. I have Carter's financial crimes documented, his affair with Emily proven, and now his threats against me recorded. But I'm not done yet. Tomorrow, I'm going to spring the final trap. I call Emily's cell phone. She answers on the first ring. Jason? Thank God. Where are you? I'm ready to talk, Emily. Really? Oh, Jason, I'm so glad. I've been miserable without you. Meet me tomorrow night at the old warehouse on Industrial Road. You know the one, where you and I used to go when we were first dating. Why there? Because it's private, and we need to have an honest conversation without any distractions. Okay, what time? 8 o'clock. And Emily? Bring Carter. What? Jason, no. This should be between us. Carter's part of this mess, so he's going to be part of cleaning it up. If you want any chance of saving our marriage, you'll bring him. Okay. If that's what you want. It is. And Emily? This is your last chance. Don't disappoint me. I hang up and smile. Tomorrow night, Carter Blackwell and Emily Miller are going to learn what happens when you underestimate the clueless loser. The old warehouse on Industrial Road has been abandoned for 10 years, ever since the textile company that owned it moved operations to Mexico. It's a perfect location for what I have planned. Isolated, private, and with excellent acoustics for recording conversations. I arrive at 6 p.m., 2 hours early, to set up my equipment. I've borrowed some surveillance gear for my security business, wireless cameras, audio recording devices, and a small generator to power everything. By the time Emily and Carter arrive, every word in action will be captured in high definition. I also bring a few other items: a projector, a laptop, and a portable screen. If I'm going to confront them, I want to do it with style. At 7:45, I see car headlights approaching the warehouse. Emily's sedan pulls up first, followed by Carter's BMW. They sit in their cars for a moment, probably arguing about whether this is a good idea. Finally, they get out and walk toward the warehouse entrance. Emily looks nervous, constantly glancing around. Carter looks angry, his jaw set and his hands clenched into fists. I let them enter the warehouse and call out uncertainly before I flip on the lights I've rigged up. They are standing in the middle of the large, empty space, looking small and vulnerable. Hello, Emily. They spin around to face me. I'm standing on a raised platform that used to hold machinery, giving me a commanding view of the warehouse floor. "Jason," Emily says, relief evident in her voice. "You came." "Of course I came. This is my party." Carter steps forward aggressively. "Look, Miller, I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but—" "Shut up, Carter." My voice echoes through the warehouse with such authority that Carter actually takes a step back. "You'll speak when I give you permission." I click a button on a remote control, and the projector comes to life, displaying a large image on the screen behind me. It's a photo of Carter and Emily kissing in the gym parking lot. Emily gasps. Carter's face turns red with anger. "You've been busy, Jason," Carter says, playing private detective. "I've been doing my job," I reply. "The job you thought I was too stupid to do." I click the remote again. Now the screen shows text messages between Carter and Emily, including some particularly explicit ones about what they plan to do in my house. "Jason, please," Emily says, tears starting to flow. "Can we turn off the pictures and just talk?" "We are talking, Emily. For the first time in months, we're having an honest conversation." I click the remote again. This time, the screen shows documents from Carter's office. The fraudulent property deals, the kickbacks, the tax evasion. Carter's face goes white. "Where did you get those?" "From your office. You really should invest in better security, Carter. A professional could break in there in under 10 minutes. You broke into my office? That's illegal. So is fraud, tax evasion, and corruption. But we'll get to that." I click the remote one more time. Now the screen shows Emily's involvement in the TechFlow contract scheme. "You've been busy too, Emily. Stealing from your employer, manipulating hiring decisions, taking kickbacks. Very impressive for someone who claims to have high moral standards." Emily is crying harder now. "Jason, I can explain." "I'm sure you can. You're both very good at explaining things. Like how you explained to Rebecca that her fiancé would never cheat on her." Carter's eyes narrow. "You son of a bitch. You went to Rebecca?" "I did. Lovely girl. She deserves better than you." Carter starts walking toward the platform where I'm standing. "You're going to pay for this, Miller." I reach into my jacket and pull out a small device. "I wouldn't come any closer if I were you, Carter." "What is that?" "A transmitter. Right now, everything we're saying is being broadcast live to Chief Morrison at the police station. He's listening to every word. This is a lie, but Carter doesn't know that. He stops walking and looks around nervously. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" "Chief Morrison, can you hear us?" I pause for a moment, then nod as if I'm receiving a response through an earpiece I'm not actually wearing. He says hello, Carter. He also says he's very interested in those documents about your business practices. Carter's face cycles through several emotions: anger, fear, confusion, then back to anger. "Even if that's true, you can't prove I did anything illegal." "Actually, I can." I pull out a manila folder and toss it down to the warehouse floor. Bank records showing the kickback payments. Forged inspection reports with your signature. Tax documents you filed with false information. It's all there, Carter. Carter bends down and picks up the folder, scanning the documents inside. His face gets paler with each page. "How did you get these?" "I told you, I'm a professional investigator." "You and Emily made one crucial mistake. You underestimated me." Emily wipes her eyes and looks up at me. "Jason, what do you want? What will it take for you to forgive us?" "Forgive you?" I laugh and the sound echoes through the warehouse. "Emily, you don't understand. I'm not here to forgive you. I'm here to destroy you." "What do you mean?" "I mean that by tomorrow morning, everyone in Millbrook is going to know exactly what kind of people you are. The newspaper is running a story about Carter's fraud. The police are opening a criminal investigation. Rebecca knows about your affair. Your employer is going to find out about your theft." Emily's legs give out and she sits down hard on the concrete floor. "You can't do this to us." "I already have done it. Right now, while we're having this conversation, your lives are falling apart." Carter throws the folder down and starts walking toward me again, his face twisted with rage. "You think you're so smart, don't you, Miller? You think you've won? I know I've won." "Well, let me tell you something. I've got friends in this town, important friends. I can make your life hell." "Really? Which friends would those be?" "The mayor, who's going to distance himself from you the moment the corruption story breaks. The bank president, who's going to freeze your accounts when the police investigation starts. Or maybe your construction company buddies, who are going to throw you under the bus to save their own contracts. Carter's confidence wavers. You don't know what you're talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. See, Carter, you made another mistake. You assumed that because I was the wronged husband, I'd be emotional and sloppy. But I'm not emotional right now. I'm professional. And professionally speaking, you and Emily are finished in this town. Emily stands up shakily. Jason, please. I know I hurt you, but we can work this out. We can go to counseling. We can start over. With what money, Emily? You're going to be fired from TechFlow within a week. You might even face criminal charges. Carter's business is going to collapse when his clients find out he's been defrauding them. Rebecca's going to leave him. Neither of you will be able to show your faces in Millbrook again. So what? You're just going to ruin our lives for revenge? I'm not ruining your lives, Emily. You ruined your own lives when you decided to betray me. I'm just making sure everyone knows about it. Carter pulls out his cell phone. I'm calling the police. You can't hold us here against our will. Go ahead and call them. They'll be very interested to meet you in person. Carter dials 911, but after a moment, he hangs up with a frustrated expression. No signal. Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention, I've set up a signal jammer in here. Old police trick. No one can make any calls until I turn it off. This is another lie. I don't have a signal jammer, but Carter's phone probably just has poor reception in the metal warehouse. You're crazy, Carter says. You've lost your mind. Have I? Let me tell you what's going to happen next. You're both going to leave here tonight and go back to your respective homes. Tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up to find that your old lives are over. Emily, you'll probably get a call from your boss asking you to come in for a meeting about some irregularities in your department. Carter, you'll probably get a visit from the police asking questions about your business practices. And then what? Emily asks. Then you'll both leave Millbrook. You'll find new jobs in new towns where nobody knows what you've done, and you'll spend the rest of your lives looking over your shoulders, wondering if your past is about to catch up with you again. You can't force us to leave town, Carter says. I don't have to force you. You'll leave on your own when the pressure becomes unbearable, when your friends won't return your calls, when your clients cancel their contracts, when your neighbors cross the street to avoid talking to you. I click off the projector and the warehouse plunges into semi-darkness, lit only by the few work lights I've set up. This conversation is over, I announce. You can go now. Emily looks up at me with a mixture of desperation and hatred. I loved you, Jason. I really did. No, you didn't, Emily. You loved what I represented. Security, stability, respectability. But you never loved me. If you had, none of this would have happened. Carter grabs Emily's arm. Come on, we're leaving. As they walk toward the exit, Carter turns back to me one more time. This isn't over, Miller. Yes, it is, I reply. You just don't know it yet. I watch their car lights disappear into the night, then begin packing up my equipment. The confrontation went exactly as I planned. I have everything on video, including Carter's threats and Emily's admissions of guilt. But more importantly, I've planted seeds of fear and paranoia that will grow over the coming days. They'll be waiting for the other shoe to drop, jumping at every phone call, suspicious of every knock on the door. The psychological warfare has begun, and I'm just getting started. By the time I finish packing up and drive back to the inn, it's nearly midnight. I have trouble sleeping. Not because I feel guilty about what I've done, but because I'm excited about what comes next. Tomorrow, the real destruction begins. I wake up at dawn and immediately check my phone. 7 missed calls from Emily, 3 from Carter, and 2 from numbers I don't recognize. The panic is setting in. My first stop is Murphy's Bar, where Tommy is setting up for the day. You look like a man who got some satisfaction last night, he says, pouring me coffee. Some. But the best is yet to come. I show Tommy the video footage from the warehouse confrontation. His eyes widen as he watches Carter threaten me and Emily admit to the financial crimes. Jesus, Jason, this is explosive stuff. It gets better. I play him the audio recording of Carter threatening to take direct action against me. Tommy whistles low. That sounds like a direct threat. You could have him arrested for that alone. I could, but I have something better planned. At 9 a.m., Mrs. Patterson from the Millbrook Gazette calls me. Jason, I need to ask you something about those documents you gave me. What about them? I've verified everything, and it's all legitimate. But I have to ask, how did you obtain these records? Let's just say they were provided by a concerned citizen who had legal access to them. Jason, if these documents were obtained illegally, Mrs. Patterson, are you more concerned about how the information was obtained, or about the fact that Carter Blackwell has been defrauding the citizens of Millbrook for years? There's a pause. The story runs tomorrow. Front page. At 10 a.m., Chief Morrison calls. Jason, I need you to come down to the station. We need to talk about those documents you provided. I'll be right there. At the police station, Chief Morrison leads me into an interview room. He looks serious, but not hostile. Jason, I've had my investigators look into the information you provided about Carter Blackwell and Emily Miller. It's all legitimate. I'm glad to hear that, but I have to ask, how did you obtain these records? Through legal means? Jason, don't play games with me. Did you break into Carter's office? I lean back in my chair. Chief, do you have any evidence that I broke into anyone's office? No, but then I suggest we focus on the criminals who have been stealing from the citizens of this town, rather than speculating about how their crimes were discovered. Chief. Morrison studies me for a long moment. You're walking a fine line here, Jason. I'm walking on the right side of the law, Chief. Can you say the same about Carter Blackwell? We're opening a formal investigation into his business practices. The State Attorney General's office is sending investigators tomorrow. Excellent. Justice will be served. Jason, I have to ask, are you planning any other actions against Blackwell or your wife? I'm planning to let the legal system handle their crimes. Isn't that what you'd recommend? Chief Morrison nods slowly. Just remember, no matter how justified you feel, taking the law into your own hands will only make you the criminal. I understand completely, Chief. I leave the police station feeling confident. The investigation is proceeding exactly as I planned, and I haven't done anything that can be proven illegal. At noon, I drive to the TechFlow Solutions building and park across the street. At 12:30, I see Emily emerge from the building, escorted by two men in suits. She's carrying a cardboard box, the classic fired employee walk of shame. One of the men hands her an envelope, says something brief, and then they go back inside. Emily stands in the parking lot for several minutes, looking lost and confused. Then she sees me. Emily walks across the street, her face a mask of fury and desperation. Are you happy now? She demands. They fired me. They're calling it termination for cause due to policy violations. I'll never get another HR job. You brought this on yourself, Emily. No, you brought this on me. You destroyed my career out of spite. I exposed your crimes. There's a difference. Emily starts crying again, but these aren't the manipulative tears from before. These are tears of genuine despair. What am I supposed to do now, Jason? I have no job, no money, no prospects. You've ruined my life. You ruined your own life when you decided to steal from your employer and cheat on your husband. I made mistakes, but I don't deserve this. What did I deserve, Emily? Did I deserve to be betrayed by the woman I loved? Did I deserve to be made a laughingstock in my own town? Did I deserve to have my marriage turned into a lie? Emily doesn't have an answer for that. Pack your things and get out of my house, I tell her. You have until tomorrow morning. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore. I drive away, leaving Emily standing in the parking lot with her box of personal belongings. That evening, I'm back at Murphy's Bar when the news breaks on the local television station. The anchor, a serious-looking woman in her 50s, leads with the story. Good evening. Tonight, we're following a developing story about alleged corruption in Millbrook's business community. According to documents obtained by the Millbrook Gazette, local real estate agent Carter Blackwell may have been involved in property fraud, tax evasion, and kickback schemes spanning several years. The story continues for 3 minutes, detailing Carter's various crimes, and mentioning that the State Attorney General's office is investigating. They also mention that Emily Miller, an HR director at TechFlow Solutions, was terminated today in connection with related contract irregularities. The bar goes quiet as everyone watches the story. When it ends, conversations resume in hushed, excited tones. This is the biggest scandal to hit Millbrook in decades. Tommy slides me another beer. How does it feel to watch your enemies burn? like justice, I reply. At 9 p.m., my phone rings. It's Carter, and he sounds desperate. Miller, we need to talk. I thought we said everything we needed to say last night. Please, just give me 5 minutes. Fine. 5 minutes. I know you're behind all this. The newspaper story. The police investigation. Emily getting fired. You orchestrated all of it. I simply provided evidence of crimes to the appropriate authorities. Look, I'm sorry about the affair. I'm sorry about everything. But you're destroying innocent people along with me. Innocent people? Like your fiancée, Rebecca? There's a pause. Rebecca left me today. She took off her ring and threw it at me. I'm sorry to hear that. She seems like a nice girl. She was. And now she's gone because of you. She's gone because you cheated on her, Carter. Just like Emily's unemployed because she stole from her company. Actions have consequences. What do you want from me? Money? I'll pay you whatever you want. I don't want your money, Carter. Then what? What will it take to make this stop? It's too late to stop it. The wheels of justice are turning now. You self-righteous bastard. You think you're some kind of hero? No, Carter. I think I'm a man who got tired of being treated like a fool. This isn't over. Yes, it is. You just haven't accepted it yet. I hang up and finish my beer. Tomorrow, the Millbrook Gazette will hit the stands, and everyone in town will read the full story of Carter's corruption and Emily's complicity. By the end of the week, they'll both be pariahs. But I have one more surprise planned. At 10 p.m., I drive to the house I shared with Emily for 5 years. Her car is in the driveway, and I can see lights on inside. She's probably packing, trying to figure out where she's going to go. I don't go inside. Instead, I sit in my car and wait. At 11:30, another car pulls into the driveway. It's Carter's BMW. He gets out and walks quickly to the front door, looking around nervously to make sure no one sees him. Perfect. I wait 15 minutes. Then I make a phone call to the Millbrook Police Department. This is Jason Miller. I'd like to report a possible break-in at my house at 47 Maple Street. I can see someone inside who shouldn't be there. Are you at the location now, Mr. Miller? I'm parked across the street. The intruder appears to be a male, about 6 feet tall, driving a dark BMW. We'll send a unit right away. Please stay in your vehicle for your own safety. 2 police cars arrive within 5 minutes, their lights flashing but sirens off. I watch as 4 officers surround the house and knock on the front door. Emily answers, looking confused and frightened. I can't hear the conversation from my car, but I can see her gesturing and pointing. After a few minutes, Carter appears in the doorway, his hands raised. The officers separate them and begin questioning them individually. One officer walks over to Carter's BMW and examines it closely. This goes on for about 20 minutes before the officers let them both go back inside. The police cars leave, but I know the damage is done. There's now a police report documenting that Carter was at my house late at night, just hours after threatening me over the phone. If anything happens to me in the coming days, Carter will be the prime suspect. I drive back to the inn, satisfied with the day's work. Emily's career is destroyed. Carter's reputation is in ruins, and they're both under police scrutiny. But tomorrow brings the final act of my revenge. Tomorrow, the whole town will know exactly what kind of people they really are. Tomorrow, I finish what they started. The Millbrook Gazette hits the stands at 6 a.m. every Thursday. By 6:30, there isn't a copy left in any store in town. Mrs. Patterson's front-page story is devastating. Local realtor accused of fraud scheme. State investigators probe corruption allegations. The article details everything: Carter's property fraud, the kickback schemes, the tax evasion, and Emily's role in manipulating contracts at TechFlow. Mrs. Patterson didn't hold back, and she had enough documentation to make every accusation stick. By 8 a.m., my phone is ringing constantly. Friends, acquaintances, and even strangers are calling to express their shock and support. The narrative has shifted completely. I'm no longer the clueless husband whose wife was cheating. Now I'm the wronged man who exposed corruption in his own community. Tommy calls at 8:30. Jason, you need to get down to the bar. You're not going to believe what's happening. I drive to Murphy's bar to find a crowd gathered outside, all holding copies of the newspaper and talking excitedly. When they see me, several people approach to shake my hand and pat me on the back. Good for you, Jason, says Mrs. Henderson, who owns the flower shop. That Carter Blackwell always seemed too slick to be honest. We're proud of you for standing up to corruption, adds Mr. Peterson from the hardware store. Takes guts to go after powerful people like that. Inside the bar, Tommy is grinning from ear to ear. You're a hero, buddy. Half the town has been in here this morning, all talking about how brave you were to expose those crooks. It wasn't about being brave, I say. It was about doing what was right. That's what makes you a hero. At 10 a.m., Chief Morrison calls. Jason, I thought you should know. We executed search warrants on Carter Blackwell's office and home this morning. State investigators are going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. Find anything interesting? Let's just say your information was very accurate. We also arrested Blackwell on charges of making terroristic threats. The phone call where he threatened me? Among other things, he's being held on $50,000 bail. This is better than I hoped. Carter's not just ruined, he's in jail. At noon, I drive past TechFlow Solutions. There are 3 state police cars in the parking lot, and investigators carrying boxes of documents out of the building. Emily's former employer is getting the full treatment. I also drive past Carter's real estate office. There's a closed sign in the window, and a notice from the state licensing board revoking his real estate license, pending investigation. Carter Blackwell's business is finished. At 2 p.m., I get a call from an unknown number. Is this Jason Miller? Yes. This is Rebecca Morrison. I wanted to thank you for telling me the truth about Carter. You don't need to thank me, Rebecca. I'm sorry you had to go through that. No, you saved me from making the biggest mistake of my life. I found out this morning that Carter was arrested. I also found out he owes money to some very dangerous people in Boston. This is news to me. Dangerous people? Loan sharks. He borrowed money to pay for our wedding and couldn't pay it back. If I had married him, I would have been in danger too. I'm glad you're safe. There's something else you should know. Carter called me from jail this morning. He's furious with you, Jason. He blames you for everything that's happened. I'm not surprised. He said something that worried me. He said he was going to make sure you paid for what you did to him, even if it was the last thing he ever did. Thanks for the warning, Rebecca. Be careful, Jason. Carter's not stable right now. I hang up, wondering if Carter is desperate enough to try something violent. But he's in jail, so there's not much he can do at the moment. At 4 p.m., I drive to my house. My house now, not Emily's, to see if she's finished packing. Her car is gone, and when I go inside, I find the place empty, except for my belongings. Emily has left a note on the kitchen counter. Jason, I'm leaving Millbrook. I can't stay here after what's happened. I know you hate me, and I understand why. I'm sorry for everything I did to hurt you. I hope someday you can forgive me. Emily, I crumple up the note and throw it in the trash. Forgiveness isn't on the table. That evening, I'm back at Murphy's bar when the local news runs a follow-up story about the corruption investigation. The anchor reports that Carter Blackwell has been charged with multiple felonies and that several other local businessmen are being investigated for their connections to his schemes. The story also mentions that Emily Miller has left town and that TechFlow Solutions is cooperating fully with investigators. Looks like you cleaned house, Tommy says, sliding me a beer. Just took out the trash. At 9 p.m., Chief Morrison calls with an update. Jason, I thought you should know. Carter Blackwell made bail this afternoon. Already? His lawyer got it reduced to $10,000. He's out, but he's under strict orders to stay away from you and to remain in Millbrook pending trial. Do you think he'll try something? Hard to say. He's facing serious prison time, so he might be desperate enough to do something stupid. I've got officers doing extra patrols around your house and business. I appreciate that, Chief. Jason, I know you've been through hell, but don't let your guard down. Cornered animals are dangerous. I spend the evening at home, going through Emily's belongings that she left behind. Most of it is junk. Old magazines, cheap jewelry, clothes she didn't want to pack. But in her desk drawer, I find something interesting. A life insurance policy on me for $500,000, taken out just 3 months ago. The beneficiary is Emily Miller. This changes everything. Emily wasn't just cheating on me and stealing from her employer. She was planning to cash in on my death. The affair with Carter wasn't just about sex and romance. It was about money. I call Chief Morrison immediately. Chief, it's Jason Miller. I just found something you need to see. What is it? A life insurance policy Emily took out on me 3 months ago. $500,000. There's a long pause. Jesus, Jason, do you think? I think my wife and her lover were planning to kill me and make it look like an accident. Can you bring that policy down to the station first thing in the morning? I'll be there at 8 a.m. Jason, I want you to be very careful tonight. If Carter Blackwell was part of a murder plot, he might be desperate enough to try to finish what he started. I hang up and double-check all the locks on my doors and windows. Then I retrieve my service weapon from the safe in my closet, a Glock 19 that I've kept clean and loaded since my police days. If Carter wants to try something, I'll be ready. At 11 p.m., I'm sitting in my living room with the lights off, watching the street through the front window. The police patrol car drives by every 20 minutes, but between patrols, the street is dark and quiet. At 11:45, I see a figure moving through the shadows in my backyard. I call 911 immediately. This is Jason Miller at 47 Maple Street. There's an intruder in my backyard. We're sending units immediately, Mr. Miller. Are you in a safe location? I'm inside the house, armed and ready. Please stay inside and let the officers handle this. I move to the back window and peer through the blinds. I can see someone trying to force open my back door. In the dim light, I can make out Carter's face. The idiot is actually trying to break into my house. I hear the back door splinter as Carter forces it open. He's inside my house now, which means I have every legal right to defend myself. Carter, I call out. I know you're in here. The police are on their way. Where are you, Miller? Carter's voice is slurred. He's been drinking. Come out and face me like a man. You're drunk, Carter. Leave now and maybe the police will go easy on you. Go easy on me? You destroyed my life. My business is gone. My fiancé left me. I'm facing prison time. All because you couldn't handle your wife fucking a better man. I can hear him stumbling around in my kitchen, knocking things over. Your wife was a whore, Miller. She told me how pathetic you were in bed, how she had to fake orgasms just to get through it. Carter's trying to provoke me into doing something stupid, but I'm not taking the bait. She also told me about the insurance policy, Carter continues. $500,000. We were going to make it look like a home invasion gone wrong. Too bad you had to ruin everything. There it is, a full confession, and I'm recording every word on my phone. I can hear sirens in the distance, getting closer. Carter hears them too. Shit, he curses. You called the cops. I told you they were coming. I hear Carter moving toward the front of the house, probably trying to escape before the police arrive. But it's too late. I can see the police cars pulling up outside, their lights flashing. This isn't over, Miller, Carter shouts as he runs toward the front door. He yanks the door open and runs straight into two police officers who are coming up the front steps. They tackle him immediately, and I hear him hit the ground hard. Jason Miller, one of the officers calls out. Are you okay? I'm fine, I call back. The intruder is Carter Blackwell. He just confessed to planning my murder. I walk outside, still holding my phone with the recording of Carter's confession. The officers have Carter face down on my front lawn, his hands cuffed behind his back. You can't prove anything, Carter yells, his face pressed into the grass. It's your word against mine. Actually, I say, holding up my phone, I recorded everything you just said, including your confession about the murder plot. Carter's face goes white. You bastard! You set me up! You set yourself up, Carter. I just gave you enough rope to hang yourself. Chief Morrison arrives as the officers are loading Carter into the patrol car. He walks over to me, shaking his head. Jason, are you all right? I'm fine, but you're going to want to hear this recording. I play back Carter's confession for Chief Morrison. His eyes widen as he listens to Carter admit to planning my murder with Emily. This changes everything, Chief Morrison says. We'll need to issue a warrant for Emily's arrest immediately. She left town this afternoon. We'll find her. And Jason, this recording just saved your life. Without it, we might never have been able to prove the murder plot. As the police cars drive away with Carter in custody, I stand on my front lawn and look up at the stars. It's over. Carter's going to prison for a very long time. Emily will be arrested and charged as an accessory to attempted murder, and I'm finally free of both of them. The clueless loser has had the last laugh. 3 months later, Carter Blackwell is sentenced to 15 years in state prison for fraud, corruption, attempted murder, and breaking and entering. Emily Miller is arrested in Florida and extradited back to Maine, where she pleads guilty to conspiracy to commit murder and receives a 10-year sentence. The insurance company voids the policy Emily took out on me and launches their own investigation into insurance fraud. I sell the house on Maple Street and buy a smaller place on the other side of town. I expand my security business, specializing in helping people protect themselves from the kind of betrayal I experienced. And sometimes, late at night, I sit on my new front porch with a beer and think about how satisfying it was to watch my enemies destroy themselves. The kingmaker got his payback, and justice was served. 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 Was served.